from Southern Maryland's weather leader. This is a JB Weather Alert.
Good afternoon, I'm good morning, I think at this point still. Good morning, I'm Forecaster John Bordash with you in the Storm Center this morning, continuing to track this line of storms that is continuing to work its way here towards the east. It is strengthening as it does so, and we do now have a couple of warnings in effect, along with a large-scale tornado watch until 2 o'clock. So if you can hear me, let me know in the comments before we get too underway with anything, just to make sure that we are all good to go on that end. What I can see is that we're all good, but I want to make sure. While I wait for that confirmation, here is a look at, I want to get you to that tornado watch graphic. Lots of other graphics, and it's not there. Well, what I can show you over here, and I see people say they can hear me fine, so I guess it's good that we're back over here. Everywhere shaded in red. So this includes all of Southern Maryland, the northern neck of Virginia. We're under this tornado watch until 2 o'clock. The main threats here are going to be with the potential for a couple of brief spin-up tornadoes, the potential for heavy rain, flooding rains, and damaging winds. We do now have our first tornado warning of the day for our local region. This is just to the southwest of Fredericksburg, across the Spotsylvania area. So this is a tornado warning for Spotsylvania County. This goes until 11:30. We've been tracking this storm as it moves through central parts of Virginia for the last couple of hours. If you've been following me over on Twitter at JB_weather, you can follow me there. But if you have been following me there, you've been seeing some of my thoughts on this storm, and it's been showing some signs of rotation here for the last half hour or so as it crossed through Mineral, Virginia. It has now entered into Spotsylvania County. This is going to be one to watch as it continues to track north and east. The immediate concern right now is going to be for Spotsylvania County, but as this continues to move northeast here at about 35 miles an hour, this will begin to pose a risk for some of our local communities. So if we take this at about 39 miles an hour here, 37 degrees, this is going to potentially start to include some parts of our local region at some point. So this should be moving here into the Spotsylvania area by about 11:21 into Fredericksburg, just after 11:35, getting up towards Quantico by 12:03, and this could pose a threat for western parts of Charles County. So Charles County just under that tornado watch right now. With that said, areas west of 301 will need to watch this storm. So from about Newburgh to Belle Alton, the Plata, Waldorf, points west towards Nanjemoy, Pittsburgh, Indian Head, on up towards Bryan's Road, Marshall, even up towards western parts of PG County. This is going to be a storm to watch as it continues to move here to the north and east. And this isn't the only storm that we're tracking here. We have this line, this embedded line within our grand scheme line continues down here towards the Richmond area, and we're going to track this southern part of the line too. I've seen some rotation here south of Spotsylvania near the Richmond area, and on its current trajectory we would see the potential for this line to go severe and then potentially cross into our region in about the next hour or so. I don't expect any nasty weather in southern Maryland until about 12 o'clock. Once we hit 12 o'clock, anytime after that point, I think is going to be our go time here in Southern Maryland across our region. And we do now actually have a special marine warning in effect, represented there by that blue polygon for parts of the Potomac River, highlighting that potential for a water spell. So for those of you that are included in this tornado warning in parts of Spotsylvania County and Virginia, I know we have followers down there, and for those of you that could be out ahead of this storm, this is an idea of what you should be doing if we do get any of these warnings issued. So this is what you should be doing in Spotsylvania County. If you're in Fredericksburg, Stafford, or parts of western Charles County, this is what you want to start thinking about doing. Again, no active warning out there just yet, but we want to start thinking about where substantial shelter could be if this storm moves on in. What would the lowest level of your home or building or school or whatever that looks like, what would that lowest level be? And what is an interior room for you? Is that going to be a hallway? Is that going to be a basement? Is that going to be some sort of small closet? We want to keep that in mind as this storm continues here to track to the north and east. Let me go ahead and show you a future cast here. This is our future cast from just a little bit ago. It shows that line of storms moving here into the Fredericksburg area by about noon. And then we see that line begin to move into our region here right around noon, 1, 2 o'clock. So this first round of storms looks to be crossing I-95 into southern Maryland, into the DC area, Annapolis, down towards the northern neck as we head between 12, 1, and 2 o'clock. The potential for severe thunderstorms and a low-end tornado risk, but not a zero tornado risk as we see, will exist as this line moves on through. We will continue to track this north and east, and we should be able to get here into some clearing for the mid-afternoon hours, but then we have the potential to see another round of storms push on in here as we head towards 8 o'clock this evening. So anytime after 6 o'clock, I think, is going to be fair game for additional storms to fire up, especially if we see some mid-afternoon sunshine. Not much of it's out there right now, but if this line can move through quick enough and we break out into that sunshine by about 3 or 4 o'clock, we could see another severe thunderstorm risk as we head into 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 o'clock this evening. This would be why the National Weather Service and the Storm Prediction Center has highlighted our region as being under a elevated risk of seeing severe thunderstorms in our region. And that timeline really is going to be from about now through about 11 o'clock this evening. That's a long window, and you might lose some of the urgency because of that. Once this first line pushes through, I would expect many people to let their guard down as we push here into the afternoon hours, but that severe weather risk will continue here for the next few hours. I want to go over to our specialty mode radar. This kind of gets us into a lot of the nuanced small things that I'm going to try my best to break down for you, but it's very important that we touch on here. So this would be our 4-panel radar here. This allows us to see normal radar up here in the top left-hand corner. The thing I'm looking at the most, and we can actually probably just use this by itself. This is our velocity scan. This shows us where we have winds in the atmosphere. And where we have wind, where are they moving? What direction? Where we get some of these red colors, that would be wind moving away from the radar. Green colors and deep green colors indicate winds moving towards the radar. So we see what would be winds going to and from the radar, and you can get nice gate-to-gate shear. That leads to rotation in the atmosphere. So once you get north and south, eventually you get enough of that, it starts to coalesce into a rotating motion. This is just off the Spotsylvania. We're going to track this as it moves here towards Fredericksburg. Along this line, we see additional smaller areas of rotation near the Ladysmith area down just to the west of Ruther Glen, near the Ashland area, and then even further north in this line here, moving through parts of Culpeper County, getting just out the Gold Vein, pushing into Stafford County here over the next little bit. So right now, we do still only have this one tornado warning in effect for parts of Spotsylvania County, but this line will be very primed to try to rotate as it continues to move its way to the east. This isn't a typical severe weather day where we're waiting to see how much sunshine we get. This first line is not dependent on the amount of sunshine we get. There is a decent amount of storm energy already bubbled up in the atmosphere, and more importantly, we have a decent amount of wind shear, or the twisting of turning of winds throughout different layers of the atmosphere that is already existent. That's going to allow any of these storms that are firing up right now to try to rotate and tap into that wind shear. If they're able to do that, then the end result is that we get a potential for a tornado to try to touch down. And I'm very wary of these storms as they work their way to the east and try to cross the Potomac River. We've seen over several years now, as these storms cross the Potomac River, that the amount of water kind of eliminates that friction that we see on land and allows wind to move a little bit more freely. And that allows for more rotation than that potential for a water spout to then translate into a tornado as these storms move on through. But as things stand right now, again, there is no active tornado warnings in effect for the Northern Neck or in southern Maryland. The only tornado warning right now is to the south and west of Fredericksburg here for the Spotsylvania area. And we'll see how radar's continuing to pick up here on the rotation. And you can really see where that pink polygon is here in the Spotsylvania area as the storm here continues to move here to the north and east. I'm going to actually come over here, see if we're able to get an update here. This doesn't seem like it wants to update with the frequency I would like it to. which is fine. So what we'll do actually is come back over here and take a look at this. So yeah, again, we're still tracking this rotation here just to the south of Spotsylvania. This is going to be coming here right across the, or just to the east of, I believe that is Brokenburg. That's a very interesting town name here. Moving through central parts of Spotsylvania County. And this is really going to be here over the next 15 minutes or so. This tornado warning in effect for the next 15 minutes or so for the Spotsylvania County area. This is just southwest of Fredericksburg. If you are in Fredericksburg, I would definitely start to advertise the idea of getting those tornado safety precautions in place. So if a warning gets issued, you know where you're moving to, what you're doing, and what's going on as these storms continue here to push through to the north and east. I want to come back over here to our other radar program, get an updated storm track on this storm, see what the latest update is here from the National Weather Service, keeping the tornado warning until 11:30. The severe thunderstorm warning capable of producing a tornado was located about 8 miles southwest of Spotsylvania about 5 minutes ago. And we are continuing to track this storm moving northeast at 35 miles an hour. This storm really looks like it's about to move into the Spotsylvania County region right now. This would be putting it into Fredericksburg here in just a little bit. So let's take this at about 35 miles an hour, moving us here to the northeast. This puts us into Fredericksburg at right around 11:38 here. So about the next 10 minutes or so in Fredericksburg. You only have about 4 minutes or so in Spotsylvania. So if you're in Spotsylvania right now, Spotsylvania, Virginia, you need to be moving into a lower level of your home, moving outside of moving from outside to the indoors. You want to put as many walls between you and the outside as possible. This moves here into Stafford, Virginia by about 11:53 here, moving, potentially getting into the Nanjemoy area and parts of Indian Head right up along the Potomac River here as we get towards the noon hour. So right around lunchtime, that's when we're talking about this first storm beginning to work its way to the north and east. So if you're in western Charles County, again, you're not under an active tornado warning, but we do know that there's this tornado warning to the south and west that has the potential to continue to maintain its intensity. The storm associated with it does. And if it does maintain its intensity, we could see a warning issued for this part of Charles County, west of 301, as we head here towards noon. Outside of that, the concern for southern parts of our region. So this is going to be areas really kind of east of 301. So we're talking St. Mary's County, Calvert County, eastern Charles County. Your concern is going to come from the southern part of this same line. This southern part of the line probably won't work into this region. Again, areas east of 301 until closer to 12:30, maybe 1 o'clock. So the highest threat will first hit areas to the west and then gradually work its way to the east as these storms move north-northeast here over the next little bit. And we see that much more of this line is beginning to become severe. We have several severe thunderstorm warnings, and we're starting to see that lightning count begin to surge upwards, which does indicate that rotation. The two tend to go hand in hand here. And we'll continue to track this again, taking you back over here towards Futurecast. This really does show you kind of what we have going on. Our first round of storms really is going to be moving here over the next 1, 2, 3 hours, really between 12 and 2 o'clock this afternoon. We then likely, after this storm, this line of storms pushes through, we likely get into a midday break, and we might actually break out into some sunshine. If we do see that afternoon break and we see a little bit of sunshine, that would mean that the second round of storms that's going to push through this evening will have the potential to then be severe as well. We'll see. We do expect the second round to move on through. Right now, I would definitely expect at least some heavy rain, but the potential is there this evening. If we see some sunshine after this, that we could see this second line being severe as well. So you can't let your guard down at all. Again, that tornado watch only goes until 2 o'clock this afternoon, but there's a potential that we see additional watches and then potentially even some warnings get issued this evening as well. So we'll continue to track all of this. If we take a 1 hour loop here of radar, you can see how this line has been moving here. The main part of this line here that is going to potentially impact parts of our region, the main part of this line that's going to potentially impact parts of our region initially started here just to the west of Richmond with a tornado warning right around 10:30. And then we saw that here continue to track north and east with that tornado warning, and we have a new update to it, it looks like, here for Spotsylvania County. Again, maintaining it till 11:30, and we're now tracking this at 11:21. Was located over Spotsylvania, moving towards Fredericksburg at about 40 miles an hour to the northeast. I do see a comment that came in about what do I do if the lowest level of my home is all glass? That's a very interesting predicament. But these are kind of everything you should be doing if you're in a tornado warning or we're thinking about what we would do in that event. If the lowest level of your home is completely glass and you have no interior room, that would be my first suggestion. So you wouldn't want to be in a room that has an exterior wall. If you have a bathroom on that first floor, even though everything else around you is glass, if you have like a bathroom or a closet that doesn't have glass walls, then that would be where you'd want to go. If that's not the case, then we're going to try to at least get to a level of your home that has some not glass walls, and you want to get as far inside as possible. So again, we are looking to get to the lowest level of your home in a substantial shelter, a shelter that has a foundation, so a mobile home, a trailer, a shed. Those likely are not going to be the things that are going to really help you in this type of tornadic situation. But we will continue to track all of this. That's all I have for you right now. No active warnings in our region right now. The only thing we have is the severe thunderstorm warning to the southwest of Fredericksburg. We will continue to track this. You can get my updates almost on any platform you're on. If you're, let's say, at school or work and can't access social media, go to jbweather.net. I have continuous updates over there. If you head to jbweather.net/live, you can get access to the live streams there. It automatically synchronizes over there. Facebook.com/jbweatherllc, Twitter at jb_weather, Instagram at jbweather, YouTube as well, youtube.com/jbweather. So stay tuned. We'll continue to keep you updated. If you have any additional questions, the vast majority of them can likely be answered by that link that is in the description of this video. Head over to gbweather.net for that 9 a.m. update. That gives you all the updates on this, gives you a look at Futurecast. Head over to gbweather.net/radar, access current radar, and Futurecast is also available over there. Those are great tools for you, and can really allow you to dissect these storms for yourself and see when they're going to hit where you are. But stay safe. If we need to come back here live for another warning update, I'll be back here with you. I'll be in the Storm Center all day. In the meantime, lead forecaster John Bordash, have a nice and safe one, and keep it tuned right here to JB Weather.
Check the forecast anytime online at jbweather.net.